also noticed that every week WWE is essentially gaslighting us, because during the intro video, it says, then, now, together, forever. That is not how a healthy relationship works. We then saw a bunch of people arriving at the building, and yes, Penta is still doing this. So he probably started walking to this episode of Raw after last week's episode of Raw, because it's going to take him at least a week. Also, my friends, what ups and downs for Monday Night Raw, the only wrestling review show you need, with me, the bald idiot, Simon Miller. I just need to address one thing, because my social media went crazy, which is always nice. This is a picture of Jade Cargill, right? She's wearing a top that says Simon Miller. It's nothing to do with me, you buffoons. There's a famous clothing brand called Simon Miller. Now, you're all very lovely, because you're like, wow, she's supporting the ups and downs YouTube guy. I just think we need to take a step back and think about this. And I was going to buy the crop top to do a joke, but it costs way too much money. There's my tangent for the day. Let's up those down. Seth Rollins' nameless group kicked off this week's episode of Raw, and poor Sethy boy, he wasn't able to talk, because just as he was going to, Bron Breakker took the microphone, which means lots of people should be happy because a fair criticism has been, why does Seth do all the talking where Bron and Bronson just stand in the background? Well, now we got our wish. I mean, if that's what you did after you rubbed the lamp and the genie came out, I mean, we appreciate it, but what a waste. Bron Breakker was super happy as well because Seth and Paul Heyman had told him, oh, hi, you are going to be the future of this industry and the president and all that for the next 20 years, which is a bit like when your parents tell you, we've definitely got you a Super Nintendo for Christmas. Then you open it up and it's a stupid Coleco. Those things will rust up on you. Bron then told us he doesn't like Sami Zayn's entrance music or his stupid beard, and that he doesn't have an athletic bone in his body. Well, no, he said he's as athletic as a dead fish. I was like, wait a minute, Bron. He's into fishing, right? He said this on an interview recently. Are you just looking at fish going, that one's dead, and also it has no athletic ability? If you said that to someone, I guarantee they are no longer your friend. He also told us that Sami has just been holding on for dear life for the last 5 years, which is why later on he's going to maul him. I looked up the term maul. The definition is tear or scratch somebody in order to wound. So right then and there, the cops should have come out and said, excuse me, Bron, you're coming with us. Heyman then passed the microphone to Seth Rollins. This time, Bronson Reed took it. He was all like, g'day, mate. Do you want to know why I'm in this group? And everyone was like, what is wrong with your accent? He goes, look, don't worry about it. I tsunami'd Seth Rollins over and over and over again, and he respected me so damn much, he put me in the group. I was like, man, imagine someone shot you. Right? They shot you, and you got out of the hospital, and he said, would you like to come and work at my finance company? Everybody should just say no. Bronson has also got it on good authority that Jey Uso doesn't respect him, and therefore he must die, so it's good to know the rules. When Seth was going to talk, and the crowd chanted CM Punk, so Paul Heyman took the mic, and he then did a soliloquy. He actually made a Star Wars reference, because he said the Empire is going to strike back. Actually, no, the Empire is going to strike first. So either, yeah, that was a reference to the movie, or maybe Seth Rollins' group is going to be called the Empire. Please let that happen, because it would be terrible in the best possible way. He also accused Roman Reigns of not being man enough to come back and take on these people. So of course Roman Reigns is going to be back soon. As he said, Penta, you are taking on Seth Rollins later, and you know what, you're stupid, and we're going to murk you too. He also mentioned the fact that Seth is going to stomp him so hard that Penta is never going to be able to talk again. I was like, actually, given how much that guy does pose, that is a pretty good threat. Seth then basically felt like everybody had said what he wanted to say, so he just said, welcome to Monday Night Rollins, and that was the end, which is interesting, because he didn't know that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker were going to do this. That's how he sold it, so how would he have put this if he was going to be the responsible one? Don't know what that means, but I've said it now, but he's a lucky pup. This was good stuff though, because mostly it was about achieving a very simple aim. We're going to take out Sami Zayn, we're going to take out Jey Uso, not to dinner. Oh, by the way, Penta, we're going to take out you too. And by the end of the night, that's exactly what they should have done. And given that they are the dominant heel group on Raw, well, you have to be on top at some point. It actually is like the Empire Strikes Back, which is probably what Paul Heyman meant by that. Giving it up. The Judgment Day were then here, and they don't want any more bears, and they were just celebrating the fact that they have all of this gold. When they turned to the corner, right, most flubbed up thing that's happened in a while, and Raquel Rodriguez was looking at Roxanne Perez, who had, like, I don't know, erected a shrine to Liv Morgan as if she was dead. Raquel, understandably, was so damn mad. She's like, she's just rehabbing an injury. One day she will return. When Finn Balor jumped in and said, I don't know, will I hurt my shoulder? I was out for a long ass time. I don't know how the Judgment Day does this. Like, they were really, really good, then they kind of fell off for a bit, then they were really, really good, and they fell off for a bit, and now they're really, really good again. They also chatted about what they should do to Kairi Sane. I was a bit like, well, why don't you just go out there and wrestle her? That sounds like a good plan. When Dominic was like, JD, McDonough, and Finn, thank you so much for my Get Better Soon cake. They're like, we didn't get you a cake. When AJ Styles popped out from behind like this wall in the corner and did that eye thing. Honestly, I don't know who came up with the idea to make AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio so damn funny, but it's wonderful to the point I'm giving it an up. It made me laugh out loud. AJ Styles is hilarious, and the way Dominic sold this like he was about to die, it's a round of applause all round. When it was time for Roxanne Perez versus Kairi Sane, and bam, put a 1 on the dick counter. Now, I will say, even though there was a lot of distraction, interference, and confusion on this show, WWE actually shook it up a little bit, and dare I say it, it felt sort of justified, especially because when we got to the main event, we've got a creative finish. Starts to go up by 1, but I much prefer doing it this way. Kairi Sane was ready towards the end of this, though, to hit her insane elbow, when Raquel just pulled Roxanne out the ring. The ref was like, well, there's nothing I could do about that, which is why I love wrestling, because it's so damn dumb. But the best part is that Kairi Sane went, Papa! And she did a big old dive, because it is 2025. Roxanne Perez then fought back. She was going to go for the pop rocks. Kairi's like, you don't get to do that to me. I'm a smart baby face. And she hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up, and she got the 1, 2, 3. And we talked about this before. It doesn't matter how many times you do it, Dick. Shouldn't have said that. You'll have to forgive me. If the good guy still wins, well, who the flub cares? The heels weren't able to pull off their plan. I still think the WWE does use it a little bit as a get-out-of-jail-free card, but again, at least it was more creative on this show. And even though the Judgment Day were going to beat up Kairi Sane, Asuka then came out, she saved her former friend, and essentially the Kabuki Warriors are back. We also found out later they are going to be part of that 4-way tag team match at Evolution, as are Sol Ruka and Zarya, who were just added here. Michael Cole just went, oh, yep, that's right, they're in there too. Listen, I watch NXT, they lost their last match, so I have no idea what's going on, but we'll get to that later. But in terms of this match, and Asuka coming out to help her buddy, giving it an up, I thought it was fun. Jackie Redmond then went to Sami Zayn and asked him how he's getting on. He was like, well, I'm not too good at the moment. I've got to worry about carrying cross, I've got to worry about Bron Breaker, and look, I've got these broken ribs, and I don't know what to focus on. I was like, you should focus on the broken ribs. I can help you with that. Your health comes first, Sam. You gotta focus on it. He even said the words, I can't focus on my ribs, and nobody has ever said that sentence in the history of the world unless you're at a smokehouse and you're about to eat and your partner was giving you grief. Then you've probably said it. The New Day with Superman and Adam Pearce because they think he's killed the tag team division, which is kind of true because he's in charge of Raw. He doesn't book any teams. When Adam had to talk to American Made, and this was fantastic as well because he was all like, "Well, and Grande Americano is going to be in action later," and Brutus Creed was like, "That can't happen because Chad Gable is injured." And Julius Creed and Ivy Nile had a meltdown here because obviously he hadn't realized what he had just done. When Ivy Nile, I kid you up, said, "Hey, Adam Pearce, I want to be in the Battle Royal at Evolution." He went, "Yep, all right." That's all you've got to do. Never forget this. If for some reason you are a WWE superstar and you watch my bald face, don't enter tournaments, don't win matches, just find the GM and say, hello, I would like this. And 99.9% of the time, they'll go fine. Following up on that point too, this is when Asuka and Kairi Sane said, "Oh, can we please be in that tag team match?" And Adam Pearce also said yes. So as we are here, would you mind paying for my transplant? I'm ready to go to Turkey. Nikki Bella also had a big old promo video telling us that she is going to be in that Battle Royal at Evolution, which is a shame because, of course, originally she was meant to do something with Liv Morgan. When Sami Zayn made his big entrance and Karrion Kross attacked him with a pipe for the second week on the road. There's the crime counter, put a 1 on it. He, of course, went after the ribs, and I was literally shouting at my TV, Sam, what did I tell you about the ribs? There was no point to do this because I am still watching it through a screen where my favorite wrestling trope happened. Sami Zayn was dead, and Adam Pearce came out, and Sam just went, "Nope, I'm still gonna fight." And Adam was like, "Well, there's nothing I can do here. I guess we'll have to ring the bell." I was like, "Damn it, Pearce, you're in charge. Just don't let it." Breaker then did arrive, and man, he totally killed this guy. He was just punching him in the tum-tum, and somehow when he went for a spear, Sami Zayn was able to hit him with a clothesline, but believe you me, he did not get much offense here. And if you were like a friend or a family member of Sami Zayn, you were probably watching this going, I think he's in a bit of trouble. I mean, at one point, Bron even got rid of that light fabric around Sami Zayn's waist, and I was like, well, now that armor's gone, whatever we are going to do, and man, Sami Zayn, when he had the opportunity, went to the top rope, he dived off with a flying nothing, and Bron Breakker killed him with a spear. I was like, Zayn, of all the things to do not go up Tina the turnbuckle. Bron Breakker then hit his super duper whooper spear on the outside and speared him again in the inside of the ring. And then he just pinned him. And as we found out later, we have now been informed that Sami Zayn is going to be out indefinitely. That's what he's doing at SummerSlam. I couldn't figure out what placing Sami Zayn would have at Hot WrestleMania. He'll probably be off to 2 to 3 weeks. He'll come back and he can have a feud with Bron. So this really was more of an angle than a match, but honestly, if you were trying to get Bron Breakker over as a killing machine, you did a great job here. Even I was looking at him a bit like, man, you crazy fool. You need to calm down and go back to talking about that dead fish. What? It's getting it up. And Perez was then talking to the War Raiders and even said to them, I'll definitely try and get you another title match. So the New Day were right, and they popped back up here. And this is when they had a big old row about the New Day saying, we want a tag team title rematch. And the War Raiders being like, well, you told us we weren't allowed a tag team title rematch. And I was like, I cannot believe this row is happening on Raw. When Becky Lynch walked by and actually went, oh man, that Big E, what a piece of trash. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston lit up when she said that. This was another wonderful segment. Becky then also walked to the ring as well because she wanted answers. And she did make a good point. She was like, why am I taking on these two losers, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, at the pay-per-view when they both drew last week and they beat each other, so they both lost, and now they're in a triple threat? That doesn't make any sense. This is why Becky Lynch is crying conspiracy, though, and this is when Bayley came to the ring. And to be fair, her name had been said a lot, so that does come down to Wrestling Rule 14.4. But Lyra Valkyria's name had also been said a lot, so before Bayley could say anything, here came Lyra. She looked at Becky Lynch and said, my title is wrapped around a waist of crazy, which is a very odd sentence, when Bayley then got mad at Lyra saying, well, I would be the champion if it wasn't for you, because you interfered in my match. It's true. Bells has also decided she doesn't need any friends or any relationships, she just needs the Intercontinental title, when Lyra was like, well, who does that sound like? You sound like Becky Lynch, and you know what? As somebody who used to look up to both of you, you are massive disappointments. So I was on the floor again. I was like, oh, Lyra's taking the mum approach. Bayley was also super mad that when she was watching TV, she saw Lyra Valkyria lose that Intercontinental Championship and raise Becky Lynch's hand. It's like, well, that's a bit unfair. That was a stipulation. When Bayley switched on a dime and said, you know what, Lyra? That made you look like a little bitch. Now, quite understandably, Lyra then went to punch Bayley. Bayley ducked and she hit Becky Lynch. Honestly, heel Becky Lynch is hilarious. The bump she took off that, she knew what she was doing. She's the best. The brawl then started too, and actually it was Valkyria standing tall because she took out both guys with the Nightwing. Now, I presumed at Evolution, when the three-way is going down, Lyra will win, and that means at SummerSlam we could do Becky Lynch versus Bayley, and that can just be a personal feud. But usually in wrestling, if somebody is standing tall on the Raw before the big show, they're going to be defeated. So actually, fair play, WWE, I don't know what you're going to do. Lyra even went and raised up Becky Lynch's hand when she was dead on the floor, which I thought was a very nice callback. And all these three work very well together. And my gosh, has it done a great job in turning Lyra Valkyria into a WWE superstar. When she was celebrating afterwards, all the crowd was doing her taunt. So once again, bravo. It's a great feud, it's a great program. It has the Jeopardy. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm giving it up. I really just hope that WWE does the same kind of thing with the US title over on SmackDown, because it would be way better. When we had this backstage skit with the Seth Rollins and his goober friends, as we found out Sami Zayn is dead, and Bron Breakker was so damn mad. He's like, man, can't believe somebody helped me in my match. Don't want anyone to help me. Want to do it by myself. So maybe now he's going to go after Karrion Kross. Karrion don't want that. Bronson Reed was also laughing as well. So Seth Rollins got in his face and said, excuse me, you haven't murdered Jey Uso yet. But Bronson let him know, don't worry, my Master Chief. I will definitely kill him in about 5 minutes. This was well timed as well because it was Jey versus Reed after this. And look, we have to put a 1 on the distraction, interference and confusion board. But I don't know what to do because again, WWE does run wild with this stuff. But also, this one kind of felt different because it was a disqualification and Bronson Reed had told us, I don't care about winning or losing, I just want to murder Jey. So actually, I'm totally fine with this. I do think WWE uses it as a crutch and now they can go, well, Jey Uso didn't really lose. But at one point, he was super kicking and he was doing dives and Bronson was all wibbly wobbly. When he just picked up a chair and he launched it at Jey. And this time the ref was like, okay, listen, I don't care what my brethren did. They're absolute maniacs. I'm calling for the disqualification. Bronson just saw that as an opportunity though, because he did go tsunami crazy. So now much like Sami Zayn, I presume Jey Uso is absolutely going to be taken out of the game. Meaning at SummerSlam, we can do Bronson Reed versus Jey Uso, or you can do Sami Zayn and Jey taking on the Bronsons and I'm happy with either of those choices. More importantly though, it did mean that Seth Rollins and his bunch of idiots were standing tall and they had done the deed, and that's how you establish heels as heels. Yeah, it did feel a little bit creative, even though it also kind of fell into stereotypical stuff. I don't know how that works. I guess it was just a well-paced show. Giving it an up. And then I then cut this really good video promo saying I'm going to beat Seth Rollins at Saturday night's main event, and I don't believe that. When listen, we did get another awesome video package for Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, but this goes back to the Evolution chat and that tag team match. The build has not been good. It's so damn rushed. Why couldn't we have had the video and Rhea and Io on this show just to do a bit of a promo off? That would have been fine. They're mega stars. I do have to give it a down. I don't understand why everything has been in fast forward. It was goofy wrestling for life next as well. This was actually quite hilarious because yes, Ludwig Kaiser, we're not playing around here, is El Grande Americano. And even Michael Cole on commentary said, that cannot be the same person. He's like a foot taller. Also, he has different tattoos. He was facing a dragon called Lee as well, so that was pretty scary. But actually, these two dudes did lucha stuff, or lucha things I should say, and it's been a bit weird that Ludwig Kaiser hasn't been on TV, and now he's come back as a fake Mexican guy, but in terms of performances, he showed out. Lee did get on top with a crossbody when he tried for one again, so El Grande just booted him right in the face. When Dragon was thrown over Alan the announce table, because people love doing that, when he came back with this avalanche shit-out powerbomb for a 1-2-ooh. That was pretty damn good. Dragon also then decided to turn around his fair play, so he tried to remove the mask of El Grande Americano. And man, Michael Cole was so excited about this. He was like, oh, we're going to find out who it is, even though he knows who it is. I was like, Michael, you need to get a new problem. We didn't get that though, because instead Americano hit this springboard blockbuster thingamajig, where if I were to hazard a guess, I think he's been talking to Chad Gable, because just as Dragon Lee was going to get back out to this, El Grande did a massive headbutt. He definitely had a steel plate on his face, which is a weird thing to say. Dragon Lee was dead, because that is what happened. And El Grande Americano pinned him for the uno, dos, tres. It's also great knowledge for us as well, because now we know metal will take out a dragon, so somebody should have told that to George. And while it is a little bit nuts that Dragon Lee didn't win here, because he is taking on the fake person of a person that's already a fake person, it was entertaining, and once again, we did protect Dragon Lee. He got hit with a weapon, and I have no idea where this is going to go. I'm genuinely confused. But if you do keep doing this every single week, well, at least it's fun, and it's dumb. I like fun and dumb. Give it an up. Heyman and Breaker then went and threatened Penta, who just went zero, miedo. And I was a bit like, Penta, I don't think this is the time. It's not going to help you. But I believe that Karrion Kross had one of these promos during the Netflix advert. You can see it on social media if you didn't see it on Netflix. And man, even though he had taken out Sami Zayn, this crowd was chanting, "We want Kross. The man is over. We're going to have to do something bigger with him." That was really cool to see though, and Karrion was all like, I just need Sami Zayn to tell the truth. And I like to imagine Sami Zayn stole a cookie from Karrion Kross's cookie jar. Now all he wants Sami Zayn to say is, yes, I did steal the cookie, but he won't do it because he's too proud. We got the final build to Gunther versus Goldberg after this as well, and I seem to be the outlier here, but who cares? I just love it. I just love that in the world of wrestling, you can have a 50-year-old man coming back to take on the world champion, and that's perfectly fine. Although I do have a lot of questions, because Gunther was out here going, I've insulted Billy Goldberg for the last 2 weeks, and he hasn't come out because he couldn't handle the pressure. Well, at that very moment, one, the camera cut to a car that was driving way too dangerously outside, so who told him about that? And two, of course, it was Goldberg. So does that mean that Bill Goldberg was driving around, and he was watching Raw, or somebody gave him a call, and when he found out that Gunther said this, he was like, well, you wouldn't believe it. I'm right outside the arena. I may as well speed into the parking lot. We are never going to know the answers. And also, when Bill did leave said vehicle, he left the engine on. What the flub are we doing? He got a big old ovation though. My favourite thing about Goldberg is that he's just so mad all of the time. And he got in Gunther's face. He's like, go on, hit me, hit me. Gunther was going to hit him, and of course Goldberg hit him first. And just as he was going to go for the spear, Gunther was like, nah, I don't want none of that. He rolled out the ring, which means, of course, that Saturday's main event, Goldberg is probably going to lose. But here we gave him his little bit of cheese so he could stand tall and feel like the man. It also shows you that Bill is able to inflict pain on the champion. And all I saw this morning is some people going, oh man, Goldberg was out of breath after just doing one punch. For goodness sake, you absolute jabronis. He is 58 years old, and also I wrestle. Sometimes I do a match and I get gassed out. Sometimes you don't know why, it just happens. Even if you don't like him either, why can't we just let Goldberg have his final moment in the sun? And even if he is going, Big deal. So what? The world is going to continue going to turn. If that is the biggest issue you have today, well, I would count yourself a lucky gentleman or a lucky lady. But I would understand it far more if it was the WrestleMania main event, but it's just going to be a fun match on a free television show. And also, much like this segment, we should keep that match simple but effective. It's go chop, 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 chop. Goldberg comes back with spear, maybe a jackhammer if he's able to do it. Gunther then kicks out 2, chop, 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 maybe a power bomb. He applies a sleeper. Goldberg hasn't got his 8 hours. He goes to sleep. Everybody's happy. And afterwards, Gunther can shake Goldberg's hand to say, respect, my friend. I mean, he did it to Pat McAfee. You can do it to Bill. So that sounds good to me, and I just thought it was very easy and fun stuff. That's all I need in my life. I'm a simple man. Up. When we actually did get a dream match in our main event, like if you had told someone in 2022, you're going to get Penta versus Seth Rollins, we all would have fallen down. And also, this was so damn great. Kudos to Seth, kudos to Penta. They put on a phenomenal match, and it made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. Penta was using Alan the announce table early on as well when he did go into the ring post, but actually he didn't care because he hit a Hurricanrana when he started to pose. I was like, Penta, they've already told you what they're going to do, and Seth Rollins was good for it too. He started to stomp all over the masked man because, yes, he never wants him to pose again. Somehow Seth Rollins had a cut over his eye after a dive, which was very odd because I don't know how that happened when Penta hit the sling blade. But when he went for the Penta driver, his meter wasn't full. He wasn't able to do it. So he hit a backstabber instead. You can see what he's doing here. He's trying to fill up the damn meter. Seth then hit this awesome gut buster when he pretended to be Penta on the top rope, and he got the splash of the frogs for a 1-2-ooh. And that was totally fine because Rollins then went for a stomp, but somehow Penta did have that Penta driver. And that was a wonderful 1-2-ooh, which was then surpassed because Seth Rollins hit a buckle bomb. Somehow that didn't inflict any pain on Penta, who came back with the Mexican Destroyer. 1-2, and at the last second, Seth Rollins grabbed the rope. That's when I was like, damn it, these two are fine professional wrestlers. Penta then dragged Seth to the middle of the ring because he was going to hit him another Penta driver. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, especially with the dick board. Just be creative, because as he was in this region, Seth Rollins took his head and went boop, and he hit Penta right in the penis. But then he said to the ref, well, I didn't mean to do that, did I? He was trying to pick me up in the air. And he turned to the camera and went, ha ha, of course I meant to do that. He hit the curb stomp, he got the 1-2-3. This is what I'm talking about. He is an asshole heel. You can do stuff like this and it's totally fine. And now Penta can come out next week and say, I didn't lose, I got hit in the dick. Paul Heyman then quite literally made a call to Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. I was like, surely you guys have this down pat now, that after a match you do a post run-in, but they didn't get there in time, because LA Knight teleported in for the Starship Enterprise. He laid Seth Rollins out with the BFT. So I have bad news if you are an LA Knight fan. If we do, following the wrestling tropes, that is telling you that LA Knight is going to lose at Saturday night's main event. At least he did get his one-upmanship though on Seth Rollins, and I am going to give this an up. I just thought it was entertaining. And as for the match itself, if you have 15 minutes today, you should go and watch it. It was pretty flipping good. There's also a good ending angle to establish that Seth Rollins' group is now in charge, unless your name is LA Knight. And it also prepares us for the busiest wrestling weekend ever. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'll do my best to cover everything, but maybe I'll die. Before we get to that though, I am going to give Raw an up. I thought it was a fun show. I mean, WWE is building to too many events, but what you're going to do, I don't know. Enjoy it all, I suppose. We will see. Take care. Goodbye.